Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here, and of course I hope everyone has an amazing day so far. For everyone who is new here, welcome. My name is Janny and I'm doing this all about Christmas channel. I will keep it short. On this channel you will find lots and lots of seasonal decor DIYs and daily decor DIYs. So if you like what you see and you're not subscribed to my channel, of course I hope you will click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. It would help my channel a lot to grow. So enough talking. I have already my supplies on my table and we are going to start this DIY. For this DIY we need of course our tumbling towel blocks. We need a piece of ribbon and try to get the ribbon which is a little bit more harsh. So not the very soft ribbon but a little bit of the texture ribbon. I'm going to use some wood glue, of course some paint at your choice, some scissors, some brushes, some cutting tools, and of course I have my glue gun. But if you don't use the wood glue, maybe you use some glue from your glue gun. But I recommend most of the time use your wood glue because your project stays better in place. What we're going to make for today, we are going to make a snowman's head, but of course with a twist. So we will see how this will turn out. So, and the first thing that we're going to do is of course we're going to take 3 blocks. We are going to make on this top some glue. We are doing on this one some glue, and now we're going to roll them together very easy until a block of 3. Squeeze it, press it down, remove of course with your old piece of towel the glue you don't need. Of course, so lay always a piece, I did forget to tell you, lay an old piece of a towel behind next to you with some who is wet, so you can easily remove your glue, because else you get one big mess on your table, and most of the time I have that. So I am going to go for 21 of 3. So this is a lot of 3s. So, but I won't bore you with that. We're going to do it a little bit faster. You see, I have my 21 pieces of 3. If you're using the smaller blocks, I would go for 4 high and of course 21, because this one is a little, I would go, I think, for now 24. I think maybe you are having a nice round. So I would go for 4 high and 24 pieces of 4 high, and then you have a nice round. Later the underside of the head and the top of the head doesn't matter, because then you just have to make a big space with wood, and then you can jigsaw it out, so that doesn't matter. But for the rounding and for your ribbon, I would go for 4 high and 24 wide. So, and I have here 21. So, but if you want to have it a little bit a smaller head is also fine too. And if you want to have him lower, then don't 4 high, then do 3 high. Just up to you what you like. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place them this way on my placemat. Very easy, and I still keep it gentle because they are dried in, but not totally dried, of course. I'm going to lay them next to each other this way, which one is fitting the best. And then we just make a nice straight line. And if everything is correctly, I can have exactly 21 on this placemat. So I hope I am right. You see already, here's a little gap open. So I'm going to do this one on the outside. Very easy, and just make sure that if you can place it together, that you get a nice straight line, because that's important. And again, I'm going to place this one next to it and this one, and then we're going to look for if all the lines are at least as much as we can in a straight line. And again, I'm going to go over here, and maybe if I am correctly, you see already, I have a one too much, so I have to count. Maybe I did made 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. No, I have 21. So, and I'm now outside of my placemat. So I am really having a little bit of a dilemma. So I think I'm going to get my placemat away, because they have to go really nicely down. So I'm going to go place it down, because we have to glue the ribbon on top, and I have to be sure that everything is right on top of each other and next to each other. So I'm going to go for this. I still hope you can see it, because it's a little bit wide. It will be a big head. And of course, you see already this one is also straighten everything out, make a nice line as much as you can. And then I'm going to measure out my ribbon. And of course, I'm going to see, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit of the thicker ribbon. It doesn't have wire. So I'm going to measure out. I'm going to use 3 pieces, I think. Yeah, I think I need, yeah, I'm going for 3. So you just keep a little piece out of the ending and a little piece out of this ending over here. And now you're going to cut it off, and we are going to make 3 pieces of the same size. Very easy, lay them on top of each other. And again, measure out. Very easy. And we are going to cut it off. And another one. And you see I have a stripe ribbon on one side, because I had it laying around. So I have to be sure that I don't do the stripe on the outside. So if we're going to make a round out of it, I have to be sure that if you're looking through it, because there are always spaces then you can look through, and then you see a kind of a stripe, and I don't want that. So I have to be sure that I glue it with the the printed side on this side and the black on the other side. So if I am going to make a round like this, the black is on the underside. So I'm going to do very easy my ribbon, but of course I'm not totally done yet, because I want to be sure that everything is straight. And you see already my blocks are not straight, but I do that out of camera, because or else I'm taking much too long of your time. And then we're going to glue it. So I have it for my idea, I have it in a straight line. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn them over, because I'm going to glue on this side. And I'm going to use this kind of glue. And I think you have your glue which you can use for here. Wood glue doesn't stick on it. I already tried it in another DIY. So I'm going to try for this one. So we will see if this will work out or not. So I'm going to go some line. Of course, I have to make sure that everything sticks in place, and make a nice straight line again, this way. And of course, this is a little bit different glue than we know. And you also can use your wood glue. So if you love to use your wood glue, it's also fine too. This is a little bit of a strange glue, I see. I don't know what happened with the glue, but he is already strange. But you will see how this will turn out. I'm going to do this one, and again the same. Start on top, make a nice line over the ribbon in totally. And you even can do it with a kind of a brush if you want to make sure that everything is coming everywhere. So I'm going to take my time, and just go over it. And before I'm going to turn it over, I'm going to let it dry in for a couple of minutes, because this glue needs to have a little bit time to dry in. And I hear also a lot of people using E6000. I don't know, we don't have it over here. So that's great glue. I really recommend it. Do whatever you think is right, because I can't advise you with that, because we have here different kind of glue. So I'm going to do this one over here. And I think I And then I hope it really sticks in place. If it doesn't, I really have a problem. And then most people say, you should have used other glue, but probably I would. We will see how this will turn out. So I'm going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes and then I'm going to turn it over. So I did let it dry in and now I'm going to try to turn it over and we're going to glue it in the middle. Very easy over here. And just lay it in one stripe and this way, and we're going to press it a little and then we're going to let this dry in, and we're going to do for the next one. And of course we're going to turn it over and the same in the middle. Make sure that you have a straight line, and we're going to do for the last one. And we're going to again for the middle piece, and we're going to inside to the outside. We are going to work our ribbon very tightly over here and over here. And now we're going to let this dry in. So I placed the middle piece, the rounding, at least, but will be the rounding of our snowman head. I placed it beside because I want to be sure that everything is dried up very nicely, because when we're going to turn it in a round, it has to stay in place. I don't want that it falls apart. We are going to go with the bottom because we are going to make with the jigsaw a round. So we're going to, first I'm going to make a nice wooden plank. Like this, at least a little bit kind of a square, which we can use for our jigsaw, and then make a nice round out of it to be the bottom of our snowman. We are going to go first for 11 blocks like this. Just glue them on the side, make a straight line, and again you go this way. And if you have the smaller blocks, you also can use 4 or 5, and also I have 11 long. I would go for at least I think 13 or 14 long. So you have enough space to make a nice round, because you want also have it around the rounding. You want to have a nice side of the head. I hope I say it right. I don't know how I can say it better. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and a number 10 and 11 is the closure up. Again, squeeze it, press it together and make a nice straight line again like this. And we're going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. Of course, you see already if I remove it, he also is going to move. So I'm going to go for, because we need 4 rows of the 11 blocks to make a nice square. So I'm going to go further with my rows, but of course I'm going to do it a little bit faster so I don't bore you if I don't already. So you see it fast forward. And you see I placed all 4 of them standing up so they can dry a little bit better, but be careful if you place them standing up, because they are not dry, so they can break very easily. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do some glue. I'm going to make sure that the side is alright, so I'm going to do some glue on this side. I'm going to do it on this side and on the other side, to make sure that we can stick everything in one piece together. So we're going to keep it very easy. Be careful, because it still can break, and it doesn't matter if it does break, it's also fine. And again, we're going to place this one aside and this one over here, and we're going to place this one down. And again, in one row, we're going to do this one in one row, and we're going to use this one as a closure up. And we're going to squeeze them together. And you see already he still can break open, but it doesn't matter. you still can squeeze everything together, because later you won't see it, because it will be one big plank and you're just going to saw it out. Again, so squeeze it together so you get a nice straight line in between. And again, over here, I'm just squeeze everything very hard together as much as I can, because my hands are not always doing what I want to do. But I'm doing my best. And this way. And now we're going to let this dry in. And now we're going to make also this kind of square for the top, but a little bit smaller. So now also the bottom of our snowman's head is drying. We have the sides which are drying. Now we need the top, and the top will be 3 blocks wide. So we make 3 rows of 9. So very easy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to go for 3 blocks of 9. This is very easy, and I'm still debating what I'm going to do with the top. So maybe I'm going to make a hole inside. I don't really know yet, but I have to think about it. So that will be later. So there is going a lot of things in my mind, but as always in my brain, they are never standing still. So they are always always working. I'm going to go for a straight line, and we're going to squeeze it together. And then we have almost all the parts together of our snowman head. And because we are going to use it for decorative ways. And this is number 3. And number 4, and of course I'm going to do the rest a little bit faster again. So I'm going to let this dry in a couple of minutes, but if you use the smaller blocks, you also go a little bit less than you did with the bigger blocks, of course. I did for the bigger blocks 11. I told you maybe 13 or 14, maybe if you want to have a bigger one, but if you want to have a smaller one, you could also go for, I think 12 it will be enough, but I would go for 13 or 14 with for the bottom. And of course I would go for this at least for 10 or 11 pieces, but just go ahead, take the piece that you made for a rounding, make it round, and just measure out how many you need for the smaller blocks. It's so easy to measure out, and for me it's a little bit difficult to see how your round is turned out, because I have the bigger blocks, but it's so easy. Make it in a round, place it on top of your thing, and just measure out what will be the measurement if you measure it up, and then go a little bit wider for the bottom and go for the top. You need exactly the middle piece, so it's very easy to make. So you see already again, I place them on the side. I'm going to give this one also a little lining over here, and I'm going to give this one a lining. And then we're going to glue them together the same like we did with the bigger one. And this, be careful, because he can break, and it doesn't matter if he breaks, but be careful. And this is one, and this will be the closure up. And again, also what we did with the first one, just squeeze everything together so you have in the middle everything closing in the same like we did with the bigger one. And again, here we are going to let this dry in. We're going to remove the glue from the top, so the space is a little bit more cleaned up this way. And we're going to let this dry, and I will be back with you when all the 3 pieces are dried up. So I was not happy just to tell you just not totally how many blocks for the smaller blocks, because I didn't like it, because I want that you also can make the right blocks and the right snowman's head. So it didn't feel right just to say, just look for it. So I'm did get my blocks, and I'm going to show you. This is my smaller, this will be the top later on. And if you go for, I think already 4 this way, and you go for 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I would go for 12 high. Yeah, 12 high and 4 wide, like this. So 4 wide, and you need 4 rows of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 rows of 12 for the smaller one, for the top. You can later jigsaw it with your jigsaw and make it fitting. For the bigger one, I have the bigger one over here. I have it this way. You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would go for 6 rows, and I would go for high 6 rows of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I will count it back in a moment. Don't worry, because I want to be sure that you also can make very easy your own snowman's head. So, or else I wouldn't be happy if you couldn't make it this way. So again, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So you need 6 rows of 15 blocks, glue them together, and you have the underpiece which you can later on jigsaw for the bottom of your snowman's head, and this will be the top of your snowman's head. So now you also have the right measurements, so I hope everything will work out. If you have questions, just leave a comment down below. And you see already our 3 pieces are dried up. What we're going to do, because I measured out, I did place it this way. I made a round, and I just measured out from one side to the other side. And for me it is 18 centimeters. So I'm going to lay this apart. What I'm going to do on the first layer, the smaller piece, I'm going to have looked for something which was the same measurement. So I had my pen. I'm going to place it on here, and I'm going to get my pencil, and I'm just going to make a line around it like this. Over here, and of course over here. And you see already now I have my first round, and this will be the top of the head. I hope I can show it to you this way. This is already the top of the head, and I always draw it over with a black marker because I'm an old lady, so I'm not always going to see the line. So I'm going to go now for the underside. The underside, I have my glass closure, and I'm going to place it on top of here, and he is fitting really, really nicely. So I'm going to go around over here, this way, very easy, and again make a nice line around it, and this way over here. And then we have both of our rounds we need to get sawed out. You see also this one, and he is nicely fitting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to saw this out, and maybe I'm going to saw also a little round in the middle out, because I want probably to have a little opening in the head on the top. So we will see how this will turn out. And here you see already the 2 parts we need, and this is what I mean. I did just a little piece inside, and it took, I think, a centimeter of, I think maybe 3 centimeters of a border I'm going to take, and I did some with a driller. I did a little hole inside, and then I did my jigsaw inside and then saw it out. Of course, what I'm going to do, because this is always a little bit tricky, because to get exactly the same size then your round will be. So it's always a little bit working with it, so how it falls out. But that's DIYing also. You have to go with problems and difficulties. So we are going to look for where it will stand. I'm going to place this one in the middle. I get a pencil, and I'm going to make sure that I have a line around it, so I have a little bit of a measurement where I want to have my glue for the first piece, because this one will be glue later on top. I hope I make sense. So this one, and very easy, lay it in between, and I'm going to get with my measurement, and I make sure that I have on each side the same 3 centimeters. So you see, I made the round over here. Now I have a little bit of measurement where I want to have my glue, and of course it's a little bit easier because everything will be black, so it doesn't matter what you draw on it because you can see it later. You can't see it anymore. I have here some tape, and of course this is tape you easily can pull apart, because I want to make sure that we have our around, and I'm going to make this round, but you can of course glue this one together, but I'm not going to do that because then you have one side which is more flat than the other one, so I don't want that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of the tape. It's painter's tape and you can easily take it apart later, but for now I'm going to try to get it in the size I want to have it over here this way. And I hope it will stay in place. I show it to you in a moment. I'm going to first take this one and I'm going to do on the underside also a piece. Over here, I'm just going to lay it down, and then I hope that it will stay in place also. Like this. So I turn it over to you and you see already it's very easy. And now I can a little bit mold it in the shape I want to have it. But first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to place it beside. I'm going to get my wood glue and I'm going to go over the line and make a nice round over here. And then we're going to place it on top of here. And then I hope everything will work. I have no idea if it does, but we will see. You never know. With my DIYs, you never know if it will work or not. We always take it at a time. And step by step we see how this will turn out. And that's the greatest thing about DIY. I make the mistakes for you so you can easily make it your own and do it better. And this is already now, hope he is fitting on top of here. And this way. Now, at least we have a round of glue, and now we still need to get our piece on top. So we are going to try to make sure that we have already a round before we're going to place it inside. It looks like that my round is a little bit, I'm going to go with my glue also a little bit to the inside, because I want to be sure that before I putting it down, that everything is glued. So I'm going to go with my glue to the inside, make sure that everything is glued when I place it on top, because I don't want that pieces are not glued together, because that will be later a disaster, because then you can never get to it anymore, because other pieces will glue, and inside you don't see it. So don't worry about the glue, it doesn't matter, you can easily get it away. So I'm going to take the certainty to make sure that all of the inside is also some glue, because I'm really scared that I don't get everything. I'm going to look for again, so take your time for it and make sure that you have your, and I have to look for if I place it, I also place the other one in the glue. I'm going to place and just squeeze also a little, and again go a little bit over it to make sure that you have a nice straight line and a nice round. And I'm going to look for, and you see already on one side the glue is very, I'm going to bend it to make sure that we have a nice round this way. I have to look for if I have the centimeters. Of course, this is a little bit boring for you, but I have to learn also. I have to see this one has to go a little to the side. You see already. Just pull on it and squeeze it to your place where you want to have it, because you have to be sure that you have it on the place you need it. I have to go it over here and over here. And then when everything is dried in, we are ready to let this dry for a couple of minutes this way. And you see already the first round is standing, and you know this is one big glue. Glue. But I'm going to take my brush and a wet towel, and I'm going to wipe away all the glue we don't need. It's very easy to do, so don't worry about the glue. So you see I have him glued on top of here. Don't mind the lines because he did fell out a little bit smaller. If you place everything together, he always is a little bit smaller than you think. What I'm going to do right now, this is dried in for a couple of minutes. I'm going to get my glue and I'm going to get over the line over here, and I'm going to go around because in the same time we are going to glue the top of the head over here and this way. And we're going to place this one on top. Don't mind the marker because it doesn't matter. Make sure, feel on each side that you have it on the place you want to have it over here, and then squeeze a little down, and we're going to give it some pressure on top, and then we're going to let this dry at least for a couple of hours. But every time with your fingers, feel, even when he's have a little overlay, it doesn't matter. Just feel with your fingers. If you have it in a straight line you want to have it, just make sure that everything, take your time for it, that everything feels okay for you. So I'm going to give it some pressure and we're going to let it dry. And here you see already he is dried in already for a couple of hours, but I'm going to remove it beside, because what I'm going to do right now, I took 6 blocks and I have the round that came off in from the middle of our head, from the top. And I thought, what can I do to let it come out of the head? And of course, I am going for some snowballs. So what I'm going to do, but I need, of course, something higher inside because the opening is open right now. And then it would take so many snowballs. Of course, you can do that. You can throw it full with snowballs, but I'm going to go for something else. So I'm going to get my 6 tumbling tower blocks. And I'm going to glue them together. Very easy, just do 2 on 2 to make a nice little stage. Again, this is 1. We're going to go for number 2. And again, this is already number 2 and number 3. So we make a kind of a table and a number 3. And we're going to let this also dry in for a couple of minutes. So I did let them dry in for a little a minute, and I'm going to do some glue on the top. Be careful because he's not totally dry yet. So turn it over and just place it on the inside of the little round. Make sure that he falls inside. We're going to do some on this one. And I do 3, but you also can do 4 or maybe more. I'm going to do 1 over here. I have to be sure that I do it this way, or else I'm sitting with a little hole. And 1 over here. And now we're going to do this one, of course, also. And we're going to place this one over here. I have to turn it over and I'm going to place it over here. And we're going to make sure that everything stays in place. And this one, squeeze it and press it down. And we're going to let this dry in. In the meantime, while this is drying, we are going to get our black paint. And I'm using the black schoolboy paint, but choose any paint. Maybe you want to spray paint it. It's also fine too. I'm going to take my black schoolboy paint and I'm going to paint my head. Of course, this side also and a little piece of the inside. So, and now I can get away my tape, of course. You see? And I think he looks, for what I can see, he looks very, you see, I have to take him off. You see, I'm really happy with the result already so far. So I'm going to get my paint. I'm going to, and of course, maybe if someone likes a red center head, I would say, likes a red snowman's head, is also fine, of course. You can choose any color you like. So I'm going to do for the black one because I love the black. A lot of you already know that, that I am really loving the black color. So I'm going to do this a little bit faster because or else it takes much too long of your time. So you see already, he is painted in the black color. Here's our little stool we made. Of course, I did also the top with a little black paint. It looks always a little bit nicer. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get he's not totally dried yet, but I'm going to glue it already on the bottom because I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to do some glue on each feet. A little over here and a little over here. And then I'm going to place it inside. Be careful. Just this way. And we're going to take it, and I hope that he doesn't fall because I have to squeeze it. Squeeze it. Of course, don't do it the way I do. Of course, I have to be sure which way I'm going to get in because he can get in, but it's a little bit of a task. So I have to get up and make sure that you see already he is in. And now I have to only get him on the bottom and this way. And now I'm going to let this dry in. Of course, this way. Squeeze it and press it down. And now I'm going to let this dry. It was a little bit of a task, you saw already. This was totally fitting again inside. So I really could glue it inside again. So we're going to let this dry. Now we are going to build up our snowman's head. Of course, I have a piece of ribbon and I have the velvet ribbon with a little bit of the darker color. I wish I had the lighter red. I have it in small, but not in the bigger one yet. So I'm going to glue this one. I just do a little bit of glue on this side, just from one side to another side. And I'm going to place it over here. Of course, I show it to you in a moment. But I first have to glue it. And then I can show it. Because or else I can see what I'm doing. But this is a little bit secret what's behind over here. So, and you see, I'm just going to... I also did some filts on top, under my snowman's head. So he's turning and doesn't scratch my thing. So you see, I'm just going to go around my snowman's head, just lay it down over here, and we're going to go around, and we're going to, and I don't glue it because it's not necessary, because it's just totally on the, and I'm going to cut it off over here, and then I'm going to glue it also with a little bit of glue, so you don't use too much glue. It's always a waste of glue. I'm going to cut it off very easily and make, at least I try to make a straight line. And I'm going to squeeze it down, maybe over here, and make sure that I have it nicely around our head. And I think he needs a little bit shorter, but I'm going to get my other scissors, and I hope this one cuts a little bit better. Yes, he does. So you see already, this was not really a nice side to see. So again, place it down. Do a little bit of glue. I show it to you in a moment. On the ending, just a simple touch of glue. And I'm going to make sure that we have a straight line over the other one. And this way, keep it in place. And you see already, now he's glued very nicely together. Of course, I'm removing the glue parts because we don't like that. Like this. And now we already have our little ribbon over our snowman's head. What we're going to do right now, I'm going to make a little display with a couple of greenery picks, a little bit of this white one. I showed you a little in a moment. I placed you a little bit closer. This is the front where I'm going to do my greenery, and I'm going to do a little combination, like I said, with the green and a little bit of the white. I just picked out a couple of them and just did with some chalk paint over it and just let it dry, so it can also get a little bit of the snowy feeling. I have two of this one with a longer stem. Of course, I'm going to shorten them, and I have two a little bit shorter. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give this one the same length. Of course, first this one. Oh, he's already gone. And this one will be a little bit the same length. And I'm going to place it, of course, a little higher. So I'm going to do one. Maybe I can show it to you a little bit better this way. So I'm going to lay one over here. So some glue over here and on the stem. And I'm going to, maybe over here, I'm just going to lay it in and keep it in place for a couple of seconds until it is dried up. And of course, you always are under the glue. Don't mind that, because always when you are doing your glue gun, you're always under the glue. With the wood glue, I have that a little less, but with this one, it's always really bingo. We are going to do again on a couple of the threads over here, and I'm going to do this one. I'm going to place it a little inside over here and just again lay it down and make sure that everything sticks in place. Of course, this one a little higher, and again, and this is dried up. Now we're going to shorten this one because we want to keep this a little more. I hope at least he comes off, but this is not the stamp I was expecting he would be. And you see, there he is. And now I have 3 nice pieces, and I'm going to first, before I'm going to glue this one, I'm going to get a bigger one, but with some snow. And of course, you see already inside he's not totally dry yet, but that doesn't matter. I am going to glue it. I'm going to take one and I'm going to lay it over here just in the middle and keep it in place. Just be sure that you don't touch your head. This is one, and we're going to get another big one, and again we're going to cut it off. This one we're going to do some glue on the back side, and again we're going to lay it but the other way. Very easy. Just squeeze it in, press it down until it is dried up. Little displays are so easy to make. You just do a couple of rules and it's so simple. You start with your greenery, then some berries, and then a little bow if you like that. And be moving away. Now we have already the bigger ones. Now we're going for the smaller ones because we want to, I think I'm going to lay it a little bit down like this. And again, some glue. And I'm going to lay it over here a little bit sideways. And again, make sure that you have it in place this way. And of course, it's always waiting a moment until everything dries up, because or else it will pop away. And it takes a little of your time. And I'm going to do this one with a little glue. And we're going to do this sideways on this side. And again, squeeze it down. Make sure that you have it in a straight line. Of course, I'm going to try to show it to you. And this. And of course, I hope everything sticks in place and I get my fingers out before I'm totally glued on top of it. You see already. Glue is sometimes my enemy, at least the glue from the glue gun, but I think I'm not the only one. Again, so this is already a nice look, but we need some white. So we're going to cut off a little piece of this one, and we're making it shorter. So I think we're going for one down. Again, some glue, place it over here, very easy, over here. This is one, and now we get of course the same one but the other side. Again, cut off a piece and some glue, and we place this one on this side and very easily gently press it down, because we have to, here will be some snow out, so of course here we also need some snow. And now we need some berries. I don't really know what I want to do, if I just do a little cluster or maybe only a couple of berries. I really have no idea. I think I'm going for a couple of them because I don't like if the bunch is too big. So I'm just going to look for a couple of them. So very easy, just go, and I'm going for the lighter red color. And this one and this one. over here. First I'm going to try for 3, just do 3 pieces, just stick them in where you think it's right. And I'm going for this one. If I don't like it, I always can change it up. And again, one over here. And we're going to do for another one. And then I'm going to look for if I like it this way, or maybe I will change something up. We will see. And again, glue it. And I let it rest for a couple of minutes, and I'm going to think if I like it this way or if I want to change it up. So, but of course with this is also do whatever you think it's right. And you see, this is how he is turned out. I did the berries a little bit different, and I did on the top a couple of more of the snowy greenery. But I did, of course, now we're going to do the top, and I'm going to get you a little bit closer and a little bit closer to my head. You see already the inside over here. And I have here some ornaments. You see here, these are some snow ornaments. You can see the structure of snow on top of here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place them inside. I have them in different sizes, so I'm going to look for what is fitting the best. Maybe something like this. You can even glue it if you like better that it stays in place. Of course, you can also do some glue over it. For this one, I'm going to easily try to get the little ribbon out of it, because I don't like the ribbon, but I think I have to cut it, because or else I probably rip off the whole the whole Christmas ball. So I think I'm going to glue a couple of them, because I think they are going to move around, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to turn it around a little so I can see my side a little bit better. So I'm going to take them out. I'm going to do some glue over here, and I'm going to glue this one. Of course, I'm going to do this one also off. And these were very cheap ornaments, so don't worry if you spill them, because they are very cheap to use, so it doesn't matter. And this is kind of styrofoam. You also can use styrofoam balls and just give them a little bit of a color. You also can do that. So I'm going to place them over here. And this way, I'm going to press it down. And now I'm going to do this one over here, but I have to look for, I have a little glue on here, and then I'm going to make sure that I have it in place. Of course, keep it in place. And I see already a wire of lime. I don't have lime glue. Here in the Netherlands we call it lime. So if you glue is here lime. So that's why you can probably hear me a little bit of both. This was a little bit strange. I'm going to glue one over here. And I'm going to glue it on top of the other one, always over here. And make sure that you keep it in place. And now I'm going to do the other one on the back side. And I'm going to glue this one against this one. So make sure and keep it in place for a little moment. Here you have to just do your own way, what you like. It doesn't matter what another one likes. This is how you like it. And I will have to look, but I don't have an even smaller one, I think. No, I think these are the smallest one I have. And this one is a little too big to place it over here. So this will, yeah, I don't know. I will look for if I like also a little bit on the side over here. And I'm just going to do something maybe over here. And then one in the middle. I think I like it. And if I don't, I rip it off, and I'm going to do it somewhere else. This one over here. And I have to keep it in place, because through the glue, it's a little bit melting, because it's styrofoam. And styrofoam always melts when you make it with a hot piece. So again, I'm going to get a smaller one. And I'm going to keep this one off this way. And I'm going to look for gluing it on top of here. Maybe a little glue around this way. And then I'm going to place it over here. And I have to be sure that everything sticks together. And this way. And I'm going to let this dry in. What I'm going to do right now, I have again a greenery pick and I'm going to cut off little pieces. I'm going to cut off this one. This is one. And I have one over here. I'm going to, this is number 3. And I think I'm going to go for this one. This will be in number 3. And I'm going to find some places where I can stick them in. Of course, over here you can find a piece. You don't even have to glue it. You can just stick it in most of the time. So I'm going to look for if I find one over here. Maybe this way. And I'm going to, you also can do some loose picks like this. You just rip it off and you're just going to get maybe another one. I think I'm going to go for this one and I'm going to do a little glue on the back side of this one over here. And I'm gluing this one on top of here. So a little bit sideways this way. I hope you can see it. And I'm going to cut off a little piece. And we're going to find a place for it. And I hope I have the room to get it inside of this one. So I didn't make it too thick. Again, very gently squeeze it in. Now we're going to turn this one around and we have here an open gap. So we do also this one. We are going to work away this piece and we're going to stick it in over here. What I did, of course, I also painted again a couple of them in the white color again. So we can also do some white in, but I'm going to wait a couple of seconds because they are not totally dry yet. And then really this will be one big mess on top. But you see already how it will turn out. But you see in a moment the quick impression how he really turned out. And here you see a quick impression of our tumbling tile blocked snowman's head. And I'm really excited how it turned out. I had a hard head in it, I have to be honest, because it was a little bit different than I normally do. But I'm really happy and eventually it was very easy to make. So of course, I hope you take out your tumbling tile blocks too and do this DIY also, because you will have so much fun and you can make it any way you like. Of course, if you are here and you just love to watch, of course, I hope you had fun watching this snowman's head. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I hope, of course, you will click the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and click the bell so you will be notified every time I upload new DIYs. So enough talking. Of course, I hope everyone has an amazing day and see you next time. Bye.